what's going on, y'all? It's your man Hanley from On the Line With. We're on episode 114 of Card Chats. We're about to go live with Spacey Jones from Vermont. I think he's currently based out of Maine right now. We'll find out. Episode, as always, sponsored by Diamonds Rising. Shout out to them. Go check them out for some exclusive gear. Make sure you tap in with them for their fall drops. I'm sure they're going to have some dope tracksuits released. So make sure you hit up Diamonds Rising. And yeah, everybody, thanks for tapping in. Episode 114. We're moving. We just hit the milestone 100th episode, so we're moving. You know, slowly but surely we're moving. And like I said, today we got Spacey Jones on. We don't do afternoon episode normally, but last night didn't go down, so I figured I'd bring it to you this afternoon, and luckily Spacey was available, so let's go. Oh, my guy. What's going on, Randall? What's the deal, Jersey South? Hello, Bill. Thank you all for joining. Just waiting for him to accept the request. You.
Yo, what up?
How's it going, bro?
Yeah, man, how you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. Sorry about having to reschedule on you yesterday.
That's all good, bro. Life happens, right?
Hell yeah, a little too fucking much.
Yeah.
oh, Nick LaRoe, what's going on, brother?
Oh, shit. That's the fam.
Yeah, Sneaks. A few people in here. I got a lot of people in here coming in. I gotta do these in the afternoon more. Apparently people like to watch us in the afternoon more.
Yeah, man, it's hard figuring this shit out, but, you know, we appreciate everybody that's in here right now.
Most
What's good, Mikey?
So, yo, just for the people that aren't in the live, who aren't able to make it to the live today, you want to give a little introduction about yourself, where you're at right now, and, yeah, whatever you want to say, man.
Yeah, man. For the people that don't know, my name is Spacey Jones. I represent Vermont Hip Hop. I'm currently living in Maine. I moved up here because I'm part of a group called The Six, if you're familiar with that. And, yeah, that's kind of just the current shit right now. We just got done our summer tour, and we're just working on content, and I got some solo shit coming out. Tommy's got some solo shit coming out. We got a bunch of group stuff coming out, so it's going to be, the floodgates will be opening up soon. Yeah, now that we're off tour, it's good to be back in the studio.
And what states did the tour consist of?
Man, we actually expanded a little bit further, like not completely west, but we did some shows in like Ohio. We did the Gathering of the Juggalos this year.
Oh, that's dope.
After that happened, we got booked some shows out in Indiana, so that's been pretty cool. We're trying to make our way out west a little bit on some Lewis and Clark shit, so, you know.
So, was that tour leading off an album you guys released, or just your year, like, annual tour thing?
We dropped an EP, like, oh, man. It wasn't that long ago. It's less than a year. We were actually just talking about it because, like, we were looking at some of the videos that we dropped leading up to it. And it was, like, a year ago that we had filmed the Carbine video or whatever. So we've been promoting this EP hard because, like, we talk about it a lot. We feel like some people, they put an album or a project out and then they're on to the next thing. Like they're already promoting their next project the day that project drops, you know? So we really wanted to make sure that we took time. We were working on something different, and then the songs that came together for this project just had a similar sound. We didn't want to mess with that. And that's kind of become our bread and butter. So we put a lot of effort into this project and it's paid off.
And what was the last project name again? My bad, I didn't catch it.
No, you're good, man. It's called Black Magic and Trap Houses.
Black
Yeah,
Magic and Trap Houses. I
by the
like it.
six. So
It's
it's the
almost.
six. It's 6IX is how you spell it and shit. If you
That
go
might
on
go
like
into.
social media, you can find it. It's like the Six Gang in my social media and shit like that. But
Yeah,
yeah, man,
I've come across that stuff on your pages, so I'm familiar with all that. I just
cool.
hadn't gone through the entire
Yeah,
catalog
no
of like everything
worries.
that you're associated with, because I know you've been like you're close with a DJ that you work with that shows lately. I know that you've been learning the ropes of DJing itself too. That I was
Hell yeah,
reading. That's
yeah.
dope, man. See, a lot of people need to like get familiar with all like the crucial things to a show. So if something goes wrong, you can step in and help out a bit. You know what I mean?
Word. Yeah, no, absolutely, man. DJing's a lot of fun. It's been cool. I've always like appreciated the DJ and stuff like that, and I've always actually wanted to DJ, but back where I like used to live, there wasn't like a big DJ scene. Like I would have to travel to like Burlington and stuff for it to really matter and shit. And I was like a couple hours from there, so stuff like that just didn't really make sense at the time. But now that I'm up here, my boy David Hudson, shout out David, he DJs for the Six a lot and stuff like that. He's our guy. He's been putting me on, so it's been a lot of fun. We've been doing like some EDM stuff though, so we've been like just turning up with people. It's been crazy.
Yeah, that's his name, DJ Hudspin, right?
Yeah,
That's who I saw on your page. Yeah, that's who I was. Are you drinking the Jarritos?
hell yeah, bro. Pineapple.
Yeah, my
Yo, this
guy.
shit's so good.
So fucking good. Sorry, a little off topic, but like I said, I base it all off energy.
Hell yeah.
So the last project you guys put out, Black Magic and Trap Houses, that probably falls into like a category of my favorite project titles, like Mav Star's Gangsta Trail Mix. Like those
Yeah,
those album titles, man. When I hear them, I'm like, why the fuck?
yeah,
Like I
man.
always,
Shout out
what's the
Mav. That
story? Yeah, what's the story behind like the title for that? Where did you guys come up with that premise?
oh man. Um, just some grimy shit, really. Like we've done a few interviews and like Cartoon, my guy, he's in here right now actually.
Yeah, he
Um,
just recently hit me up. Well, he added me on Facebook, so I was gonna hit him up shortly, actually. So yeah, shout out to Cartoon. What's up, bro?
yeah, he started this whole 656 thing years ago. We actually have a memorial show coming up for one of the members of Northern Lights Nation, which was his group years ago, um, who had just recently passed away. So it's been like a huge journey for him and stuff, and getting everything organized. And like he had some artists before. One of them was Hayes, who kind of like he really like cemented this death trap sound in the early days and stuff. And then as we had started making different music and stuff, Delirium had really like brought in the screams and just it started getting a little darker, and it was awesome. Like we were really feeling it. And the people at the shows were like loving it. So we just really built off of that. And the Black Magic Trap Houses thing, I think, just kind of happened. You know, we were just like trying to think of some grimy, cool shit to just like really like label it and just like product it like the way that it should be, the way that it sounds and stuff, like the way that this like what we rap about and shit, you know, like when you hear it in there you're like, oh, it makes sense, you know. It's just a lot of drugs, killing, and you know, horror. I rap about wrestling a lot. Like we just have a lot of like influences in that kind of lane of like the, you know, like when I talk about wrestling, like I'm talking about like some ECW type shit with like people just blood pouring everywhere, you know, just like the craziest shit. So
Classic shit.
yeah, yeah.
And how long have you been making music for yourself? Like aside from being in like a collective or a group, whatever you guys label it as, how long have you been making music as Spacey Jones, a solo artist?
Professionally, probably only since like 2017.
Okay.
I kind of started making music in like 2010, 11, but it wasn't anything really serious. Like there wasn't a lot of people to like look up to in my area back then, and maybe there was, but social media and everything, it really just started like coming together. So like a lot of those people didn't have like pages and stuff the way that we do now and stuff. So you like we see a lot of things these days. Like back then, it was a lot harder to come across it. Like I even lived in Burlington from 2014 to almost 15, and like I still had no clue about a lot of the scene up there. And I was like around like a lot of college kids and shit like that because I was living with my homies that were going to UVM. So it's crazy how much like the music scene's evolved just in the last like 8 years or even the 5 years that I've been a part of it and stuff like that. Because I had in like 2016 started hearing about Cause and Effect and Jarv and all these people from Vermont. I started going to their shows because they were just down the road and shit like that. And Jibba the Gent, who's a part of Cause and Effect, he's a 656 artist.
Yeah.
And that's how I got to know all these guys like Toon and Tommy and that he bridged the gap for me, and a lot of Vermont artists really and stuff. So it's been pretty cool to be a part of it and to see the whole thing develop and just grow.
So so I guess getting into the mix with after you got familiar with the scene a little bit more, you feel like that transpired you into being more full-time artist.
Yeah, it definitely. It motivated me to, like, I won't say like I watched people and I was like, I can do this if they can, you know. I don't think anything like that. Like, I just think that genuinely I was like, wow, if I put the work in like they are, you know what I mean? It was like really like people with like their own merch and their own CDs and shit, and they were really doing stuff like professionally. They weren't just out there like ciphering or like, you know, just hanging out having a good time. And like there's nothing wrong with any of that, because I think there's levels to all this stuff, and I think it's important that we have like the open mic nights and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Because the competition that drives, like, even us, like a nobody could come in off the street and just like throw a dope ass show, and like people that perform every like night are gonna be like, wow, that was pretty inspiring, you know what I mean? And they're gonna probably take little bits from that and try to run with it, you know what I mean? So it's just really like what you're trying to do with what you're trying to do.
And to bring it back to what you were saying about Cartoon was putting together for one of the members that's passed away the memorial event type thing. You're on that bill, I'm assuming, right?
Well, yeah, the six will be on that bill. We're gonna be doing a set, and then there's also some more six alumni, like 656 alumni coming through that night. It's gonna be like a whole family thing, so it's gonna be a really special night.
Where was this taking place?
It's gonna be in Herman, Maine, at Morgan Hill Event Center. That's like our home base. Shout out Ruthless Ryan Conley, man. That's it's a beautiful.
Yeah, I was wondering what happened there for a second.
Nobody can make it to that, you know what I mean? We got shirts that Toon had made up, and a lot of the money is going towards Cam's daughter, for like her future and stuff. So it's really more than just a show, you know what I mean? And the production that's going behind it, like I've been talking with Toon the last few days, and he's got a lot of stuff like planned and ways to make Cam there without him being there, which I think is going to be really special.
And before you decided to do the whole hip hop thing, like before, like Spacey Jones growing up, what did you initially think you'd want to be when you grew up? Like, was it always wanting to be in the artist side of things? This is a question I just recently started asking people, to be honest.
No, that's a good question. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to be a basketball player, like straight up. That was like
that's my
dream. Like I love basketball. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm like the cliche. Like I wanted to play basketball, now I'm a rapper. But honestly, after I went to college, I dropped out like my freshman year, and I started working in the restaurant industry. And I like fell in love with it. Like I just thought that was like the best thing ever. Like my homies were all working there and shit, so it was cool. And like within a few years, I had worked my way up, and I actually became like a manager of the restaurant that I started at like 24 or something like that. So like in my mind, like that was what I was gonna do forever. But the weekends they burn you out and stuff. And like I was always kind of making music for fun then and shit. And then like I said, in 2017, I started going to these shows, and I really was like, it's now or never. You know what I mean? Like I'm only gonna be young for so long. Like I can't learn this shit later on, you know what I mean? So it's like, if I'm going to make this push now, it's got to happen now. So I just decided to give it everything I had. I didn't like quit my job or anything like that, but I went and found jobs that like allowed me to maneuver a little bit easier and stuff. I ended up like working in the mental health industry, which was kind of cool. So I had like clients and stuff, and they would listen to my music, and they'd like, I could tell like if it was a good song, like they were really liking it, you know what I mean? Other stuff, like they kind of just be like, this is whatever. They were like brutally honest, which I really appreciated, because I feel like a lot of the time the homies will just, they're like, yeah, that's cool, man, you know. Like I definitely have some homies, like Toon straight up will tell you if he don't like something. Like he don't care, even if it's our song. Like if he's on it, he'll just be like, I don't like this, but whatever, you know, somebody like it.
You don't want a bunch of yes men, bro.
Exactly.
You know, that's why a lot of the times the homies aren't always like your truest fans, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The people who just pop out of nowhere and shit.
Yeah.
Like, I fuck with shit. But
that's why we work so well as a group, because we're all very honest with each other and shit. We push each other to be better artists and stuff like that. You know, I think that's important, is that competitive nature. Like the whole six thing really started, well, not the six thing, but like with our group, really started like during COVID. We were at Brad Vasey, who is the other half of Cause and Effect, at his house at this like super spreader event, dude. There was like, I don't know, like 20 of us there probably, you know what I mean? We weren't supposed to be hanging out and shit, but we all wanted to see each other. Like, we've been fam forever and shit, you know, and we wanted to make music. So we had like 2 studios set up, and we were all just bouncing around and shit. It was like on some Wu-Tang type shit, you know what I mean? Like, somebody would be writing a verse and then they go spit it and you would hear it and you just be like, oh, and then you start writing, and it was just, it really like, it helped grow a lot of our like pen game and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like, I definitely wouldn't be the artist I am today if it wasn't for like that moment. Like, that moment right there was like a big, big moment. Cause like, in my mind, I'm in a room with all these juggernauts, right? Like, there's just like Jibba the Gent, Young Breeze, D French, Raw Def, and then you got Tune, Tommy, Delirium, Vazy, you know what I mean? I forget, I don't know who else was there. I feel like that might have been the majority of the Shorty Bang was there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
that you got with Shorty Bang's dope too. That
yeah. So like,
chorus.
there's killers in this room, bro, and we're all fighting to be on these tracks. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you had to come up with some hot shit, or else you weren't gonna be on that track. You know what I mean? So it was cool. That was a really dope moment. I wish like we had gotten some footage. So like, there was like a little documentary going on for that. I don't know if you've seen the Revenge of the Dreamers 3 documentary they did when they made that album.
I don't think I did
They were
tap
all
into
in
that.
like this Airbnb, and it was like the same type of vibe, and that's kind of what it reminded me of as well. So it was cool, man. It was like a really, really dope moment. But since then, like, everybody else kind of had their own path and stuff, you know. Like, we had really wanted to generate a bunch of songs to go on tour with, because we had a few tours lined up, and some people got kids, some people have jobs, other people got other things going on, you know what I mean? So like, shit doesn't always work out for everybody. So like, the people that were kind of left was like me, Tommy, Tune, and Delirium, and that became like the 6. And we went and took a bunch of those songs. We went on the road. We did a tour with Twisted that year, and then we got a show with like Chris Webby at Morgan Hill. They did a show with Mercules years ago at Morgan Hill, and that's how they built a good relationship with Morgan Hill, was because like, they weren't like the 6 the way we are now, but they were the 6 before, and they shut that shit down when Merc came through. So when Webby came through, Merc's people shouted out, and they were like, yo, make sure you like connect with these people, because like, they will like make sure that place is packed or whatever. So that was a super dope thing, you know, and like, that just is a testament to like what Tunes built with the 656 for the years, you know what I mean? It all started with that NLN, with the Northern Lights Nation, you know. So it's cool, man. It feels, it's like I'm a part of something really big, and I came on like later on in the years. Like, I'm like 2nd or 3rd generation 656 at this point. You know, I'm not in the beginning with all those other guys. Like, everybody else kind of had fizzled out at that point, and now it is.
I like that there's history to it. That's what
Yeah. So
I'm
it feels legendary. It feels like walking, you know, you're like part of like the Celtics or something like that, and you're just like, you hear about all these dudes, and like they were killing it back in the day, and then you watch the footage, and like, they were killing it, bro. Like, Northern Lights Nation was fucking killing it. Like, if you will see some footage and
I'm
shit.
gonna have to do a deep dive and get
Yeah, it's legendary
I know
status,
I'm supposed
man.
to have
Like,
Jibba. I'm supposed to have Jibba on for sure. We've already been talking.
yeah,
But also, I'm sure I've spoken with a few people. I just can't recall who they are. There's so many messages I go through, and
yeah, we should get the 6 on here.
Oh, for sure, bro. Like,
Yeah, get the homies on here.
I see the 6 Gang Instagram trying to jump in right now, but I don't usually have people jump in like mid-interview, so I'm gonna contact them in a little bit, and I'll
That's
set
probably,
something up.
it might be Tune. Yeah.
Started. We still have this country. That's a
Yeah,
long.
man.
That's a couple decades, bro. That's no easy feat. Like, especially with collectives nowadays.
Yep.
You know, like, longevity is one thing that these collectives lose and just don't have after a while. But it's good to see that you guys have it still going, and the new generations, like Spacey saying, that are in it know the history, which is important, because the history of it all plays a big part in anything that you're participating in, really. You know what
Totally,
I mean? You don't want to work for something and not know their past, and then find out their past is a bunch of fucked up bullshit. You know, like. Let me stop you. Definitely. So she was asking before, how'd you like working in the mental health, like?
Yeah. I loved it, honestly. I worked like one-on-one most of the time, so there wasn't like a lot of like big group settings and stuff. But there's definitely
one-on-one is more like vulnerable for, like, and to like get, if they're comfortable one-on-one, then you know, like you're doing it right. So
Yeah, you get to really know like somebody when you spend more one-on-one time, and like you might do some activities that like, you know, that's pushing them beyond a little bit of their like comfort zone and stuff like that. So it's cool to watch people like tackle problems and like situations, you know, and like them coming up with a strategy and like it working and then being really excited about it, you know, and like that's kind of what it is in life, is just building off those small wins anyways and stuff, you know what I mean, and just having the people around you to reassure you that even if you don't make it, like it's gonna be okay, you know,
yeah.
you can get back up and try again.
And if you're still loving what you're doing, bro, you just keep doing it for yourself, and whatever, you know, if it sticks, it sticks. I mean, you never really, you can't really call it. You know, it's not really a prediction game.
Yeah,
You know, it's
no, for
more
sure.
it's a more of whatever like rolls out in front of you or whatever you're able to step into.
Hell yeah, no, absolutely.
So yeah, when it comes to Spacey Jones, it's just a solo artist. Are you have any any updates you could provide on any projects you're releasing solo? Or
I mean, I'm not even really focused on much solo stuff at the moment. I've done like I did like a one-off show this summer at Glow Hard, and I brought the homies out and stuff. Tommy did like a few of his solo songs and shit. I'm super focused on the group stuff. But I do have a single dropping next week. It's available on Bandcamp now. It's called Ain't Got Time. It's featuring Delirium and my dude Sky Splitter Inc. Zach Crawford, who's big in the Vermont scene.
I'm familiar with that. Once I
Yeah,
hear Sky Splitter, I know who everyone's
yeah,
talking about now.
he's the engineer,
Yeah.
man. Like if anybody needs engineer work, like that is the dude, especially in Vermont. He laid down like a dope guitar solo at the end, and he does all my engineer work and stuff like that. He engineered the Black Magic Trap House's EP.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's why everything sounds so good, man, because he's just awesome. But yeah, so that's dropping. I've had this like mixtape that I've been just working on for a while. He's putting the finishing touches on a lot of it. I'll drop it whenever, basically. I had plans to drop it this summer, but we ended up doing like the gathering and like a ton of traveling and stuff. And you know how traveling is. It just
Was that the
costs a
first
little bit of
time
money.
Was that your first time at one of the gatherings?
That was
or have you
my
been there?
first time at a gathering for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
What
Yeah.
was it like for you personally?
It was a crazy experience. I mean, from the second that we rolled in, like, but we didn't even get out of the vehicle yet, and there was just chaos happening. You know what I mean? So, in like a good way. It wasn't, you know, I had a really good time. I think a lot of us had a dope ass time. We were there for the whole week. Shout out the core horror dudes. I think Cartoons in here.
Yeah.
Those dudes are super awesome. We got to kick it with them for a lot of the time, and I think those experiences are important. We like actually made like a home base with Native Roots, Grassroots, not Native Roots, Grassroots, and they're like a clothing company and stuff. They're big in like the weed culture. So they had like two dudes there that were running their shit. Shout out Nico and Graydon. Super great people, man. It was just about meeting great people and having a good time. You know what I mean? And yeah.
Sounds like
Whatever else you can capture, you know, just the wildest shit. You know, we watched Riff Raff get fucking completely booed off stage, basically. Like they just destroyed that stage because they weren't fucking with him. You know, and
oh, man.
that's some shit that he made decisions in his personal life, and the Juggalos just don't like that shit. You know what I mean? If you're fucking up in real life doing like some real scumbag shit, like they're not gonna let it fly.
I find it so crazy, like the timing with all these interviews I've been doing, like everything's like I've been interviewing a lot of Vermont artists, so like I've been continuing to try to get people from Vermont on the show, but like at the same time, the people that I interviewed outside of Vermont have all been part of like the Juggalo community and things like that. I just recently tapped in with a new artist who's making music, and he's getting like 50-50 backlash, 50-50 good. And then I'm like, holy fuck, like, it's just so weird how, like, it doesn't matter what part of the world I'm in, or wherever I'm at, someone's talking about something similar, and it's just blowing my fucking mind, bro. Like, I'm glad I'm not Spacey right now, because if I was on shrooms, I'd be having having an epiphany and shit.
Yeah, the universe is crazy like that.
Fucking nuts, bro. I swear, it's insane.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
But yeah, that's definitely dope, man. Dope to be part, like, that community, it is very, very solid.
Oh, it's the best.
I'm not personally one to like be completely tapped into all their shit, but like, you know, if I come across it, I'll listen. But like other artists,
I'm the same way.
underground artists, like I'll be more likely to listen to like the underground artists from like that community than I would
Hell
be
yeah.
like someone like
Yeah,
a
check
high.
out Hex. Hex
But
is super dope. I'm the same way. Like I'm very open about like not being a juggalo. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with being a juggalo, and like I love them. I think they're easily one of the best fan bases in hip hop, if not the best fan base in hip hop. But
it's a
you know, I'm
loyal
not a
loyalty.
juggalo. Like I've never grown up. I don't know the lyrics to a lot of those songs and shit. You know what I mean? So when I'm watching like ICP up there, people are doing every fucking word. You know, and I'm looking probably like a poser in the crowd to them, but they're super welcoming. Like they don't care if you've been there for 1 year, 0 years, or 10, 20 years. You know what I mean? It's like they welcome you right in and shit. You know, it's all fam shit, and that's why we love them so much. You know, and the New England Juggalo community has really embraced us, and they've helped us get to this level that we're at now. We definitely couldn't have done it without our fans.
I wonder what state has the biggest Juggalo fan base.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe Michigan.
Michigan,
That's just
yeah.
where they're based, but I could be wrong. You know, I have no idea for sure, but they're everywhere. I mean,
They're
it
even here
sometimes
in Canada
sometimes
most
you
of
don't
the
even
time.
know that they're in the room. You know, you just throw out a whoop whoop,
Yeah,
and they're there.
whoop time too. Yeah, I hear that. I just saw that in the comments earlier too. I laughed at it. I saw it. I was like, word.
Dude, it's so funny when we were at the gathering. Like you were whooping like every fucking 2 seconds. You know what I mean? So that was like kind of what we would just say to each other. Like when we got back, we would just like just whatever. It'd be like whoop whoop. You know. And now we haven't really said it like at all. We'll say it like every once in a while, but like it's funny how like when we were there, it was like that. It just became like it was like part of their culture. It is a part of their culture. So you're just like you become a part of the culture, and all of a sudden you're just saying shit. You're doing their shit. You know, it's like it's wild. It's wild.
Crazy when you start becoming part of something, you adapt to what's going on in it
Yeah,
so quickly.
that's when you're like, we got to get out. We've been here too long.
You're like,
But it was good.
I
You
know
know,
every
definitely not a
slang
bad
word.
thing. Yeah,
I know
definitely
every
not a bad
phrase
thing.
they say now. So the mixtape that you said are getting the finishing touches on. What's the name? What's the name for that one? Do you have a
It's
name
called
on it?
Amplified Substance.
I think I saw a post about that earlier on your page too.
Yep, yep.
I
I've been
usually do a dive into the music, and then before I go like speak with them, I'll go look on their most recent posts, so I know like what's up to date. So I'm not just out here looking like
yeah.
a clown sometimes.
I've been kind of
Although,
dropping some stuff like for it for the last few years. Like I changed my rap name in 2019 from my last name, which is Treleo, to Spacey Jones. Um, so I dropped no announcements, which was like no ceilings, basically. It was just all industry beats, and I just like got a bunch of homies. Like there's Mad Vermont and other people from other states, like B Divine and Real Young Juice are on there and shit. Um, and I just wanted to do kind of what Wayne did and just flex on these beats and then get the homies on some songs that maybe I haven't worked with before and shit. So I dropped that and that was cool, you know what I mean? But it wasn't like any exclusives. I didn't have like any music out whatsoever. So the next thing I did was the 40s Blunts and All That Jazz EP. I think that was only like 5 songs or something like that. And it was just like some kind of little, not like boom bappy, just like those jazzy lo-fi beats and shit. Some of them were a little boom bappy, and that was good too. Jack the Rich produced a few of those tracks and shit. So that was a fun little project. And then Shorty Bang and I dropped that Daywalking EP, which is fire. I think that's one of the best projects for sure. If anybody hasn't checked that one out, definitely go and check that one out. It's
Shorty
definitely one of
Bang is
like the
Shorty Bang
stronger
is fucking
bodies of
dope,
the
bro.
work. Yeah, he's
Like,
dope, man.
man, just some of the shit he says sometimes, bro. Like,
He's hilarious.
I
Yeah,
love
no,
that
he's
guy.
hilarious. We
Oh
we
man.
actually made that EP like in 2 days. So like I picked him up
Oh,
one weekend and we got a bottle of tequila and shit and we were just doing dabs and hanging out and we wrote that and recorded that weekend, sent it off to Breeze mixed it, and then we dropped it.
yeah. I feel like Shorty's one of those artists that you could just put in the studio and if he's there long enough and has like freedom to do whatever the hell he wants, he'll put out a project in like in a day or
Oh,
two.
it's just
Like, he just
like
has
yeah,
work.
he just writes and that's what he does is raps. Like he just speaks raps. Like
Yeah.
he's constantly just got his phone and he's fucking it's super dope, man. He's mad inspiring.
Word. Yeah, that Slaughterhouse track he has, I've been using the unmastered version for like my YouTube channel
Yep.
promo. And now Nick just said that he's finishing the master right now, which I'm very pleased to hear.
Hell yeah.
That track is fucking dope. uh, I got a handgun. Fuck, I need karate. The guy fucking kills me, bro. And I was like, he's right. Like,
Yeah.
what do I need karate if I got a handgun for? Yeah, man. That sounds like that's dope though. That you have a lot of like stuff coming out, but in different avenues, like with the 656 team, and then the like NLN, the performance for the homie who's passed away. Like it sounds like you have a lot of stuff going on. Do you feel like, were you originally from Vermont though? Like you're born in Vermont,
Yeah.
born and raised?
Yeah, I grew up in I was born in Vermont and grew up in Bradford, Vermont,
Okay.
and I lived there off and on for almost 30 years.
And now you're in what part of Maine are you in?
I'm living in Waterville, Maine now.
Okay.
Drip City.
How's Drip City? Wow.
Drip City.
How's the change in state for you?
I've actually really enjoyed it. There's a ton going on up here, like more than Vermont, in different ways. You know, like if I was more up towards Burlington, it would feel more like this. But Maine's been super dope. I mean, like Portland's not very far away. We've been DJing down in like Old Orchard Beach and stuff like that, which is like only like 20, 30 minutes past Portland. You know what I mean? So the coast is right there.
From the west coast of Canada either. You can get to Canada.
Canada's right there. Yep. So I mean, I can drive like 20 minutes and there's just like nothing. You know, there's still that country vibe in Maine, but there's also like Waterville is like very busy and there's a lot going on. So it's been cool. It's been a good change of pace.
What would you say differentiates the hip hop scene from there in Vermont?
I don't know yet. I haven't really like dived in too much to the scene here. I know that Vermont's hip hop scene is very different than a lot of scenes. I will say that. I will say that people that I've worked with from other states have told me that, like, personally, and the way that we all collab, and like even though like there's like little beefs, like I wouldn't really call it beef, like people just don't get along and shit, and that's just life. But rappers don't get along, they don't like each other's music, whatever and shit. But that happens everywhere, but it's almost less in Vermont in certain ways, and the scene seems more like welcoming and shit, and people are a lot like trying to do a lot more together and stuff. Like in other states they don't collab like we do in Vermont necessarily and shit. Like the No Announcements project was like, even Breeze at the time was like, this is a very special thing because of how many people you got on this shit. And you know, the collaboration aspect I think is just one of my favorite parts of hip hop, and that's why like I enjoy the group so much, is like, you know, just the different sounds. Like I like Wu-Tang, so you know, I mean, there's like 8 motherfuckers on a track and they all sound different and shit, and I just like that. You know, I always liked like ciphers and stuff and just features, you know. I just think it brings a lot to the tracks.
Well, if you like ciphers, then you're gonna like the idea that I have planned, that I've been speaking to some people with. Nick knows what I'm talking about. Shorty knows what I'm talking about. Breeze knows what I'm talking about. Eugenics or FFD Ross knows what I'm talking about.
Okay.
JM.
Yep.
Because I've been working a lot with FFD Ross for a while now.
Yeah,
like,
that's the homie too.
Helping them out with trying to get some shit here in Canada going down.
Word.
Oh, Rick Atlas, what's up, brother? Thank you for joining. But yeah, bro. I wanted to ask, because you said you changed your name in 2019 to Spacey Jones. What was the reason for the change? Was it for marketing reasons?
Yeah.
Because I mean, the last name as a hip hop artist name, I could see it popping up on Google pretty easy.
Yeah, it's the problem that I had my whole life, was like people spelling it and pronouncing it, like they would just fuck it up. And then like I was like, why am I putting myself through this? Like I put myself through this through school. Like I didn't put myself through, but I had to deal with it in school and shit. And my whole life, I'm like, why am I dealing with this? And I'm a big Ninja Turtles fan. And I'm kind of a space cadet, honestly. Like I like to smoke weed and shit, but I think I'm pretty forgetful sometimes anyways. So Spacey Jones just kind of popped in one day and I was like, oh, that's pretty dope. So I started looking it up online. I saw nobody else had it. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna slide into this. And I started like kind of calling myself AKA Spacey Jones, and eventually it just became Spacey Jones. And Like, people always called me Treleo growing up. Like, nobody really called me Mike because it's such a popular name. There was like 3 other kids in my class that were named Mike. So people just call me Treleo. And now it's like nobody calls me that at all. Like, it's just Spacey pretty much nowadays. You know, it's crazy how it's like evolved.
When you become your brand, you notice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, once you actually become the brand, you notice right away.
But I don't think Spacey's any different than Mike. You know, I think that Spacey was somebody that I had built at the time, and it was like somebody I had wanted to become, and now I've become more of that person. You know, like, I had never really dyed my hair before, and I started dyeing my hair and just dressing differently and shit, and not even like differently, just like more how like I've always wanted to dress. You know, like, I growing up, like, would get picked on and shit for wearing like hats like this, you know what I mean? Like, I grew up in a very like small redneck town, so like it was always a problem. Like, no matter what I'd wear, like, my pants were too baggy, my shirt was too big or something like that, so I would always get picked on. So I like eventually literally just started kind of dressing rednecky and shit, and like the girls liked it too, so I was like, all right, whatever, you know. I had short hair, I just wear the hat the way they did and shit, chew tobacco, fucking whatever, dude, you know. We're listening to country music, like, that was it. But after high school ended and none of that shit fucking mattered, which it never should have in the first place, you know, I'm stupid for doing that, I think. You know, I don't think that was a good life decision, but whatever. I started becoming myself again, and ever since then it's just I don't care what people think, and not in like a I don't give a fuck what you think type of way. It's just like, you can say what you want, you can talk about my clothes, my car, whatever, but I'm still gonna be doing myself at the end of the day, you know. It's just who I am. Like, I'm very genuine, and I want to inspire people to do that, especially in my hometown, because like I don't want any kid that felt the same way that I felt to like have to go through that shit. Like, you shouldn't have to only dress a certain way to like fit in and make people like you. And it's sad how many people liked me because of the way that I dressed and acted and like would, you know, behave differently because I wanted to fit in and I made it work, you know. Like, a lot of people that didn't like me would become my best friend and shit, and then like once we graduated and I started dressing like this again, they're just like, you know. So people are weird.
Looks like I found my clip for when I started making a clip for like the promotion of the interviews. This is gonna be my clip. That was a good answer for why you changed your name, bro. And I think going through that like life lesson, if you want to call it that, you probably learned more from that than when you were just trying to fit in, so you wouldn't get the backlash from these people who are just thinking everything has to go the same way. Like, try that in a small town.
Right. Dude, it was the craziest. The craziest small town mindset shit. And I don't have like big crazy things going on in my life. Like, I'm not a multi-millionaire or anything like that, but I do have like a big mindset. I feel like I have a lot of aspirations and dreams, and I've like
$1 million mindset.
To come from where I come from and to have done the shit that I've done even so far in my life. Like, I think it's something to at least like be like, wow, you know, like, he's really making effort out there, you know. Like, you got to respect the grind at this point, even if like the results aren't like a Lamborghini and shit like that. It's still like, wow, you know, he's out there, he's making the best of it, he's not being a piece of shit person, you know. Like, I'm trying to uplift the people around me the best that I can and give the people around me opportunities too, you know.
Like you said, you're not a millionaire, but like I was saying, like, it's a millionaire mindset. I think that's better to have a millionaire mindset, and if you're able to execute that millionaire mindset and still be happy with whatever you're getting paid from whatever type of career you're doing, I think that's more profitable in the long run than just having that $1 million and a weak mindset.
Yeah,
because you know that money's gone instantly.
I would make music. I would make music for the rest of my life if I never got booked for a show and nobody listened to my songs ever. You know what I mean? I'd still make music. Like, from the day that I made my first song, people laughed at it and didn't like it. Mainly my friends and shit, you know. And they were right. Like, it wasn't good and stuff, you know. But it motivated me to do better, you know. And it made me want to get better and like show them, like, you know. And I had just been starting out anyways, so like, it wouldn't have been a big deal. And I think a lot of people should have that mindset too. It's like, when you're just beginning anything, like, you may not always get it right off the bat, you know. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. If you fall down your first time snowboarding, it's like, so what, dude? I fall down. I've been snowboarding for like 10, 12 years now, you know what I mean? Like, I still fall down. Like, it's not shit, you know. We all learn at our own pace, and it's just about having fun and just doing what you love.
I fall down snowboarding because I'm fat and top heavy. But no, you're right, man, and I appreciate that, like, that type of sentiment that you put out for people, because like, there's not a lot of artists who like to be as upfront and blatantly truthful about these are the things that's missing when people are trying to do the same thing that everybody else is doing currently.
Yeah.
And like there's certain traits and aspects that will differentiate you from everybody else that's doing it and the people that people want to see doing it. You know what I mean? And it's oversaturated as fuck these days. So it's like it's hard to even like believe there's any way to like differentiate the two, but there's certain qualities in people and characteristics that make them stand out from the rest of the crowd a lot of the time. So like your honesty and your genuinity of everything is very, very refreshing, I guess I would say.
I appreciate it.
No, for sure, bro. And
it's taken a lot, like, you know, like even like beyond my friends, like when I had first kind of started like putting myself out there in the scene, like, you know, I think like people like Jibba the Gent and stuff, like, you know, they probably didn't fuck with my music in the beginning, but they saw somebody who was willing to put the work in and had the potential and stuff. And I think that's important as well, you know, and I really appreciate people like him, like David Fair, even, that just gave me opportunities in the beginning when, even though I wasn't who I am now, you know, and I don't think like where I am now, like I'm like a top tier rapper or anything like that. Like I still have a lot of work to do. And I think this next project's going to show people that I've really like elevated my game a lot. I've worked on, like the way that I rap, like my voice and stuff, because that's always been like a big thing with people is like, why does he rap that way and stuff? And I always kind of combated it. But recently I've been embracing like my actual voice more. I saw this interview with Andre 3000 and Rick Rubin a few years ago.
You learn a lot in that interview, bro.
Andre 3 Stacks was talking about how he was playing music and one of his homies, he'd play him a song and he'd be like, yeah, that's cool. And he kind of just brush it off, and he just kept doing that for a while and shit. And then one day, like, I don't know, I think he was like smoking weed or something, he said, and he ended up like using his like real voice by accident or something, and it kind of, he just went with it or whatever. But his boy was like, yo, that's it. And he got all like hyped. And like from that moment, he just never really. And I kind of had that same moment with one of my roommates a few years ago. It was after I watched the interview, and I started rapping differently. And he's like, yo, he's like, I don't know what you did. He's like, but you gotta like try to do more of that shit. So it's been a learning process. And the six has really helped me hone a whole different sound than ways to use my voice and stuff. And some people like that like more aggressive side of me. So like the 6 is like a lot of that, which is really cool. And then Spacey Jones, you'll still get a bunch of that in the solo stuff. Like Ain't Got Time's definitely a little bit more of an aggressive record. But at the same time, there's songs like Daydreamin' where I try to be like really inspiring and uplifting and kind of bouncy. Like I have a lot of weed tracks. Like I'm kind of all over the place when it comes to like my sound. Like I don't think you could put your finger on like what my sound is and box me in.
Yeah, you're versatile for sure.
I don't want to be the jack of all trades always, though, you know. So after this project's done, Big Homie West and I actually have a project that's going to be following this one up. That's only produced by him, and we're gonna really like Kanye West the fuck out of this project, and like a lot of the shit's gonna be post-production. So once I get the lyrics laid down and shit, and like we can go in the studio and really play around with things. Like I want to spend more time on the post-production side of things than just, you know, laying it down and just letting it be what it is, you know. So I'm really excited for that evolution. Wes is an incredible producer. He's a great DJ. And he's one of my brothers. I love that dude. Very much. So shout out to
I've had him on the show, and he's one of the first couple artists that I tapped in with in Vermont and built a relationship with Liv over the last year.
Yeah, he's the man.
We're trying to figure out an event for like where I'm at in Canada, because he goes to Montreal often. Yeah. I'm originally from there. But I told him, like, yo, if you come here, we could definitely set something up. So we're trying to figure something out that way.
That's what's up. Yeah. Hell yeah.
What I'm trying to do is
I got to get my passport so I can just come with him, because I'm trying to Canada.
If you once you get your passport and you're trying to get shows out here, just hit me up. I'll figure something out for you.
Word. I appreciate that. Hell
like I said, this whole platform is trying to become a one-stop shop for, like, whatever an artist needs. You know what I mean? Cool. It might not always be me doing the services. Pause. But it might be someone else, because I'm going to need to get people to help me soon, because this is getting out of control lately.
Yeah. No, that's
But
awesome, man. Those are good problems to have, though. And like
oh
I
hell
said
yeah,
before, like we appreciate you doing it for the scene and the culture and stuff. You know what I mean? Like there's so many platforms these days, but it's like who's really like who cares? You know, and like who's actually like trying to make it like what it should be, you know, and trying to push it forward and stuff. So like we really appreciate like anybody that's just, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but like it's like almost everybody's a rapper nowadays, and it's cool to be a rapper. Like
bro. I
I would sound
started off
super
making hip
hypocritical if I
hop,
was
man.
like, oh, don't, you know, but it's cool to have people that aren't they want to be involved in the culture and the community without rapping and stuff, like, you know, and like you were saying earlier about the DJ part of it, I wish more people would learn how to DJ and stuff like that. You know, we got to get more people dancing and doing graffiti like we used to and shit. You know, there's more to hip hop than just
Yeah,
rapping and MCing and shit.
it started off with multiple elements. It
Yeah,
wasn't just putting lyrics behind a beat.
yeah,
But yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I started off making music. I still make music, but like that's why I'm so familiar with how so much of the shit goes.
that's
So, like, I have a past with it. You know what I mean? So like, I'm slowly getting back into making music, but
yeah, man.
it's taking its time. But like, I mean, it's been like a decade plus. I've had time to work the pen, so I'm feeling confident.
That's
But
cool.
I mean, I'm not trying to just use my own podcast and be like, I'm making music again.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. No, no,
no,
that's
it's
cool. I mean,
corny.
so
It's just corny.
even then, it's like, you know, Futuristic's got the Indie Amplify thing. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but he's put mad artists on through that, and like he promotes his music, you know, and he doesn't ever make his music like the main thing, but people know that he makes music probably more than Indie Amplify. So it's like, I think you should use your platform to absolutely grow your dreams and just do whatever, you know, and just help. Maybe they help each other. You never know, you know.
Well, that's the point of it all. Like I said, bro, I don't want this to cut us off, but you're always welcome to come on because I think we only scratched the surface.
Appreciate it, man.
Spacey Jones, so you can always come back on whenever. We'll set it up. But
Sounds
I have
good,
one more
dude.
question. Do you collect Funko Pops too?
No, I don't like Funko Pops at all. Like, don't even. No, yeah, I'm a big Funko guy.
Bro, you should.
These are all the
I
hip
have mine all
hop ones
boxed and
back
lyrics.
behind me. Yeah, I
Bro,
got, dude. I should just let me just take this off for like 2 seconds. I'll show you real quick.
Yep.
I got like all these, and then
Me and
like
Spacey
I'll
Jones got a lot of shit in common, bro.
take you through like a little bit of my room. It's just crazy. They're just everywhere. I have like an addiction. I just got this guy today. I paid $13 for this.
No way.
He's gigantic.
Yeah, man, that's dope though.
Yeah, but
No, bro, but
we will
definitely.
chop it up again more, bro. I appreciate you so much for having me.
Yeah,
Man.
no, definitely. I'm glad we could link up, and we'll definitely keep in contact because we'll have you on again. But we'll also, hello, puppy. But we'll definitely have you on again soon, bro. I want to thank you again for coming on for episode 114. Spacey Jones,
Yes,
I'm your
sir.
man on the line with, and I'll be back again in a few hours for episode 115 with True Consequences from North Carolina. But yeah, appreciate you coming on, bro. And any quick things you want to say before you tap out?
Man. And just, you know, if you're in the main area, pull up to that memorial show for Cam. It's at the end of the month. Stay tuned for, I got that single dropping next week. Amplified Substance coming at some point. A lot of Six Gang stuff. We're on TikTok, all that shit. And nothing but love. Just keep chasing your dreams, man.
Appreciate it, bro. And again, the episode's sponsored by Diamonds Rising. Go check them
Yes,
out.
sir.
Links in the bio. Have a good one, bro. Peace.
Peace, homie.